What's up, guys? Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, July the 14th. Oh, been on the water quite a bit lately, pretty much every day. Catching some fish. It is getting a little bit tougher, but we are catching some fish. Do have a new little technique to share with you guys today that has worked for the last 3 or 4 days. Not as good today as it did yesterday or over the weekend, but I think it may have just been the day. We had an east wind all day, so that definitely tends to shut the fish down, especially when you're throwing something that's moving. As far as our lake level is concerned, I'm going to guess we're at 925 and change. I can't get the Corps website to pull up on my phone down here at Ants Creek, but they have had 2 generators running pretty much 24/7. Kicking it up to 4 generators pretty much every afternoon to meet power generation needs because it's hot. They've pretty much shut beaver off. They've got it down to about 4 or 5 foot high, and they're kind of holding it there for right now. Bull shoals still 28.5 feet high, something like that. Working on drawing that down as well, but we do have current. The lake is dropping about 4 to 5 inches a day, so we're still on track to somewhere in mid-August have the lake back at normal pool. Water temperature I've seen anywhere from 84 to 92. Seems like 84 is kind of a starting point every day. It doesn't seem to matter where you are, whether you're in Kimberling, you're down by the dam, up around Shell Knob. 84 seems to be where the water starts temperature-wise. Depending on how much color you've got in the water, it can get up as high as 86, 87 by midday. Just pulled off the water and I think I was seeing about 87.5 here. So it does warm up quite a bit. Get up into the river arms and you will see low 90s, 90, 92, 93. Was up in the Kings last week and saw 92 a little bit later in the day. So keep that in mind. The water has warmed up. As far as this new technique that we've been using, it's kind of a takeoff of what we used to call scrubbing a grub. What I'm doing is I'm taking a Jackin Jaws 3.3 swim bait. You can use whatever swim bait you like. I've changed over to the Jackin Jaws brand because the price is great and Austin's doing a great job making them and he does really good on colors. But I'm taking that 3.3 swim bait and I'm matching it up with a 7/16 jewel Pee-wee football jig head. Not using the skirt, just the head, and just fishing it out on gravel runouts and scrubbing the bottom with it. The best way for me to describe it for you is early in the day, we're throwing it probably about 6 or 8 feet outside of the bush line, so probably about 10 foot deep, and then we're just keeping bottom contact all the way back to the boat. As these fish, or as the weather warms up, the sun comes up, these fish will push out as deep as 30 foot deep. If you stay with the fish, you can continue to catch them scrubbing the bottom. The key things with that 7/16 football jig is, number one, the weight, because it gets it down and makes it easier to keep that bait on the bottom. The other key thing is the hook length. It's got a shorter shank hook on it, so it doesn't impede the action of that 3.3. If you put it on a 2.8, it will kill the action a little bit. But on a 3.3, it's basically perfect, and you can just scrub it on the bottom, plus that football head on these gravel runouts has a tendency to kick off of rocks and give it a little bit more action. If you're interested in trying the technique and you don't want to destroy your Pee-wee football jigs you already own, if you get on jewelbait.com, they have a section for bulk baits, and you can purchase just the Pee-wee heads at $1.20 a piece and get them shipped right to your door. Don't have to tear your skirts off of the Pee-wees you already have. Order you a half dozen or so, try the technique out, see if it works for you. It's working great for me. It's worked the last 4 or 5 days, and it's kept me from going out and having the drop shot all day long, and it's kept my clients happy because it's a lot more fun to cast than it is to drop shot. But anyway, if you guys are coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, a few bites are working. You definitely want to have a topwater tied on. It's not a great topwater bite. Matter of fact, it's a mediocre at best topwater bite. But every once in a while, you'll stumble on some fish on a topwater. So have a spook, Sammy, whopper, plopper, surge shad, popper, whatever you want to have tied on. Have that laying on your deck, because it never fails. The days I don't leave them out or don't have them rigged up for clients are the days that these fish come up and start busting shad. So keep that in mind. Have a topwater tied on. Most of the topwater fish are coming on main lake and secondary points in the bigger creek arms. And there's no rhyme or reason to it, guys. I wish I could tell you if you go here, you're going to find topwater fish, but one day they're there, the next day they're not. So keep that in mind. Next bite that's working is the swim bait bite I just talked about. 3.3, Jackin Jaws, Kitech, whatever you want to throw. Color doesn't seem to make that big of a difference as long as it's shad colored on a 7/16 Pee Wee football jig head. Remember, that jig is going to work better because it's got a shorter shank and it's heavy, and it helps you to keep it on the bottom. I was doing that down there over the weekend, caught several fish out as deep as 30 foot deep, scrubbing that thing on the bottom on gravel points. It wasn't fun with the boat traffic, but we did catch them doing that. So keep that in mind. That is definitely a viable pattern down there. Third pattern that's working down there is a drop shot rig. Either a shad shaped worm, cut tail worm, UV drop shot worm, chomper's drop shot worm. On your drop shot rig, most of these fish are coming off of trees though. I'm not catching a whole lot out on gravel runouts yet, and I don't think I will till they slow this water flow down. Most of them are in trees that are anywhere from 40 to 60 feet deep. Overall depth, the tops of the trees 25 to 35 foot deep, and you'll see them in the trees. Generally speaking, you can catch several out of one tree. If you are catching fish out of a tree on one bait and all of a sudden they quit, switch up, put a different type of bait on, take the shad shape off and put a cut tail on or something else. Give them a little bit different look. You can still catch fish. They're not stacked up yet, but we are catching several fish out of trees right now. Go to the Kimberling City area. Again, the topwater deal, have it tied on, have it laid on your deck. Don't count on it. It's probably not going to happen, but if you don't have it out, guaranteed it'll happen. Have a topwater tied on. Spook, Sammy, Whopper, Plopper, whatever you want to throw. Swim bait deal, same deal. 3.3 on the 7/16 Jewel Pee Wee football jig. Head has been doing dynamite down there. Again, I'm starting up shallow, working my way out as the sun comes up. Again, in Kimberling, we're catching them 22 to 25 foot deep, and that water's got a little bit of color, so keep that in mind as well. Have your Pee Wee tied on with a swim bait. Keep it on the bottom is the biggest thing I can tell you. If you keep it on the bottom, you're going to get bit. If you let it get up off the bottom and you start reeling it too fast, you're not going to get bit. But definitely have that. Pee Wee football jig itself has been working a little bit, but that bite seems to be short-lived. It's basically during low light hours. First thing in the morning for about an hour, you can catch them on gravel points, gravel mixed with rock points, up fairly shallow, 10 to 18 foot deep. And then again, as the sun's setting, if you're a night fisherman, have a Pee Wee tied on, throw it on those gravel points. You can catch a few before the sun sets as well with a Pee Wee football jig. And then of course the drop shot rig. You're going to be hearing a lot of drop shot talk for the next couple of months because it's setting up, it's starting to happen. Again, most of the fish are coming out of those deeper trees, 40 to 60 foot overall depth. Trees topping out 25 to 35 really seems to be where the fish are. Shad shape, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, chomper's drop shot worm, all of those are working. Pick your favorite worm, drop it in a tree and catch some fish. Come up here in the James where I am today. Had a phenomenal day yesterday. Had some big fish, had some numbers, all of them on the swim bait. All of them on the 3.3 with the 7/16 Pee Wee football jig, scrubbing the bottom on Main Lake gravel points. Every fish came on Main Lake gravel points, had a 5-pounder, had a couple of 3s, had a 4, had some good quality fish and some numbers. I mean, we caught quite a few fish yesterday doing this. So keep that in mind. 3.3 swim bait and a 7/16 Pee Wee football jig. I have been catching a few around docks on a Pro Spider Jig as well. Haven't got to do it much. I had a guy late last week who wanted to flip some docks, so we went and pitched some docks. Most of the fish I'm catching on docks are 12 to 20 foot deep, and it seems like the docks that are on gravel points are holding more fish than if you just go down a stretch of docks. Even on gravel, it doesn't seem to matter. You've got to have some sort of a point that they can move from deep water to shallow water, but fish the shade. Pitch your jig back in as far into the shade, feed it line, get down the bottom and work it back slow. You can catch a few around docks as well. Go up into the White River, same deal. Have a topwater tied on. You know, you probably won't get a bite, probably won't get a blow up. But the day you don't have it laid on your deck would be the day they come up all around you and you have to dig it out. So have a spook, a Sammy, Whopper, Plopper, surge shad, whatever you want to throw. Have it ready to cast. I personally prefer a spook because I can throw it a lot further, and if they're coming up 50, 60 yards away from me, I can reach them with a spook a lot easier than I can a popper or something that's smaller and lighter. So that's just me. Next bite is definitely the swim bait bite. 3.3 on a 7/16 Jewel Pee Wee football jig. Is catching fish all over this lake. I'm not sure if it's the current that's causing it. I know that's what's keeping the fish that are on these long gravel runouts from grouping up so much to where we can drop shot them. But I think moving that bait along the bottom allows those fish to hone in on it. They probably feel it through their lateral line and then see it, and that's how we're getting bit. If you're sitting out there drop shot and you're dropping right over top of them, you know, unless you see the fish on your screen, that little drop shot worm's not sending out enough vibration to call those fish in like a swim bait that's swinging its tail back and forth. So definitely try that. 3.3 on a 7/16 jewel Pee Wee football jig head. Been working great. Drop shot rig is working, but most of the fish again are coming out of trees. We're catching them 40 to 60 foot overall depth, even as deep as 70 or 80 foot depth. The tops of the trees 25 to 35 foot deep. Shad shape's been working, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, Chomper's drop shot worm. And again, if you're starting to catch a few out of one tree, you know there's more fish in it because you can see them on the graph, but they're just not reacting to your baits, switch baits. That's been kind of the key. Since they're not really grouped up as well as I'd like to see them, it's been kind of a key to switch baits, and don't be afraid to change something completely different, in a completely different color. Go from natural shad to morning dawn, something completely different to see if you can get them to bite again. Pee Wee football jig's been working a little bit, mostly up in the Kings is where I've been catching a few on a Pee Wee football jig, so keep that in mind. If you're going to go up in the Kings, those gravel points and runouts have got some fish on them. You can catch them 8 to about 12 or 13 foot deep. More gravel and rock mix seems to be the key on the Pee Wee football jig, and either bass whacker or touchdown have been my two best colors, matched up with a speed shad. Guys, it is halfway through July. It's already hot. It's going to get hotter, but the fish are biting. I mean, we're catching fish, and you know, we're doing a little bit different deal than we normally do this time of year with scrubbing this swim bait. So might want to give that a shot. Get on jewelbait.com and order some of just the heads, or if you don't want to order anything, cut your skirts off and go give it a shot with a 3.3. The 3.3 is really important on this deal because the 2.8, that the hook shank's shorter than a normal jig, but it's still long enough that it will kill the action on that 2.8. So you really want to throw a 3.3 swim bait if you're doing this. Guys, again, if you haven't checked out Table Rock Fishing Intel, get on tablerockfishingintel.com, do the one-day membership, check it out. I guarantee you're going to see a lot of stuff on there you're not going to find anywhere else. It's pretty much all original content. We've got marked maps, we've got daily fishing reports, weekly fishing reports, feature videos. Everything is Table Rock based, so it is designed to help you catch more fish on Table Rock. Check it out with a free one-day membership. If you like it, it's $45 a year, and it goes from whenever you sign up to a full year. Guaranteed you're going to like it. I think you're going to get a lot of information, a lot of intel on there, and we're going to keep packing it with more and more information as time goes on, and you know, just have an archive where you can go back and find some of these older videos and find some of this better information that'll help you catch more fish. So please check out Table Rock Fishing Intel. But if you're coming down, you want to hire a guide, you want to go fishing, give me a call. It's a focused fishing guide service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email, book online. The online booking engine's been a little wonky lately. If you're having trouble with it, just give me a call or shoot me an email. We'll figure out dates and times to get out there on the water and have a good time. Guys, thanks for watching the videos. Again, check out tablerockfishingintel.com when you get a chance. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you, and we'll see you on the water.